It's evening here in Sweden. It's soon about 10 o'clock in the evening, and I go to bed about 12 o'clock. I start to do my evenings work on myself to go to bed just after 12 00 midnight, and I can do that. I wake up at 6 o'clock about that, because it's summer here in Sweden and it's very light early in the morning, and I have hard to sleep when it's sunny outside. And but then I go and have a nap, maybe about 1 hour in the afternoon after lunch, about 3 o'clock. So I still can be awake very much, and I'm glad that I can do that, because I see people that younger than me, and they go to bed at 8 o'clock, and I am thinking about this, that we are going back to when we were babies, when we are kids, and you know that about 8 o'clock we were going to bed when we were in the beginning in the school, when we were maybe 9-10 years old. We have to go to bed at 8 and then wake up early to go to school, and it start to be the same when go older. So I'm glad that I can still be up late, even if I didn't take a nap before I got this with the brain, and that's the same, that a child must take a nap in the afternoon, and so we are going back to be like babies, and the hair is not so thick anymore. As I say, it's not about everyone, but many have this problem, and we lose our teeth, and the baby have no teeth. When it's rare that a baby have teeth. There is babies that have teeth, and we go back to that. We have no teeth in the end. So there is many forms of circles. I was talking about this last episode, that we are on our way to go back to when it started on Earth, when this planet was void and dark, and nothing was living here that was of good. It was only evil planet, this, and we are on our way back to that black, dark, evil planet that was before God's spirit was flying over this planet, and we are going back there if we can't stop it in some way, to ask God to come down and help us, and to make heaven coming down on this planet, and let the planet stay in the light forever. And I follow. I look at on Facebook. I look at Swedish people that love Jesus, what they are doing. It's some kind of feeling that I be like hold back to the ground, to not do my own path, God's plan. I need to have see what other people are doing, but not join them, not follow them, but I need to see what the world is doing, and not be only in my little space with talking to those in heaven, spirits that coming here and have my own area in my home. I need to go out in the world to look at it, but not copy it. So I follow one man that he say he had been in prison for 157 times. He had been in jail. He had been very criminal, doing much drugs, drinking, and manipulate people to do what he want to do. And the question is for me, do he still manipulate people? Because he have these people that is not so well educated, that is around him, and but they give him much money, and he can't take care of the money. He's going to the store every day and buy food, and when normally when you by yourself you go maybe once a week and buy food what you need for some days, but he go and he's have far away from he live far from any store, so it cost him money to do this. And I wondering how people can send him money the whole time, and he got very much things from people, and that is people that have been into drugs and alcohol, and many are still in drugs and alcohol and criminal lifestyle, but they are together with him in his church, and that is that the devil is not frightened about churches. The devil, he have many children in churches. When I was in church in United States, I have not been so much in Sweden in churches, but when I was in African American churches, some pastors were saying that next to you there is the devil sitting, and it's like that about every second person is not there for the right reason, but they give money to the church, so it's okay for the pastor to let them be there. And then also because it remind me about this, that there come in some churches there come people that was filthy, that doesn't smell so good, and they kick them out from the church. But if they think that that's the devil in them, because they have not take a shower, they are homeless, and I was homeless, but God have sent me to United States. So, but it could be with other people also that come to the church. And some people say, why don't they clean them up in the church? And they have clothes that people have given them, so they can make them take a shower and then put on clean clothes and then sit down in the church. No, they kick them out. And those that have these long nails and gold around them, and high heels, and those look like okay for the pastor, they could stay in the church, but they were maybe more into the devil. But that what they sow, they judge what they sow on a person. And I was thinking that is so very wrong. You could help that person that coming in, want to be coming into the church and hear preaching. Then you could help she or he to not smell. And when I was in the Mormon church now, for 3-4 years ago I was, before the corona, I was to the church, and there was a woman that come into the church, and she was smelling very much, and was very, very fat woman, and they always place her at my on the side of me, because no one was sitting with me, no one sit with me. I was on my own in the church, so they place her in the same category as me, what they saw. And I sit there, and she smell very much, but after a while I did forget that she had a smell, and I talked to her, and I was kindly to her when the other people avoid her very much. She passed away for about 3 years ago, so they don't have that problem in the church, and they have no problem with me either, because I don't go there anymore, because they don't want me to go there, so I don't go there. So I don't go to a church where I am not welcome, and I am not welcome to any church in my city. I have tried to make friends in the church, but they have kicked me out in their way, how they treat me. So I'm very happy to tell you that I have that in me from God, that he is saying that he's not clearly saying, but I feel it, that if I can reach all over the world with my podcast, and it's doesn't need to be many. It's if one person in one country, in all these countries all over the world, if I could reach them, then I have done what God is waiting for. God is waiting for us to act, and if I can reach all over the world, then I know heaven will come down, so the whole world will see it. Not only me see them coming here and talk, that the whole world will see it. So I'm so happy to see that now in 2 days I have got new countries on my map for my podcast, but still it is some countries that I have not could reach, and that most is in Africa, and it's understanding because some countries is poor with internet, and but I got some. I don't know these countries, but there was a country. It says Wilhelmstad. It's a Dutch. It's under Holland, but it's have their own freedom to do what they want to do in the country, and the country is Curacao, and then I got from Manama. It's Bahrain. It's a small country in Asia, and it's laying north of Qatar, in Arabic, this country. I got someone. It's listened from Ivory Coast in Africa. So it's those big countries. They are most all are on my podcast map. I wait for Finland to come, but Finland is like Sweden. It's not much about God. They don't believe so much in God, and then they are not so very good in English like we are in Sweden. We are very good in English. Holland is also very good in English, and I think Germany is coming also in this to know English better and better. France is harder. I have been to France many times. I think I have been to Paris 5 times, and so I know a little about France. That it's hard to speak English there. They prefer that all people are speaking French, but everything has changed lately because of all people that coming in from far away countries, like all Muslims that are coming in all over Europe. So people need to speak English and it's other languages going on than for only 15 years ago. Like, or I say 2015. That's when we got all these people coming in that have continued to coming in. And it was I am talking about this man also that I follow. I don't follow him, but I look at what he's doing, and he have put up a tent, a very big tent for people to come and hear preaching from all kind of people standing there in their jeans, not nice clothes on then when they are preaching, and I maybe is wrong, but I think we should have nice clothes, modest nice clothes on when we preaching and when we are in the church, to honor God. That's what I'm thinking. But they don't know God because they love Jesus, so that they don't understand to listen at Jesus when he's talking about God's kingdom. They don't know that, and most of them read only the New Testament, so they don't know God. But I was also, I must say something that is in my heart, that I miss my friend on Facebook that was a pastor. It was in Christmas 2020 when he passed away in coronavirus, and he was the only one that talking to me about, because he was on another belief. He was this Jesus lover, but he wanted to talk to me about it. And when I talk about that I am a prophet of God, then he said to me that I have many prophets, female prophets in my church, he said. But those people that say this about prophets, I have met some prophets that what he's talking about. I have met prophets, and they are like she that is on. It's some people that is on television to do. They have shows of to be a medium, and they earn money to do these things. They are like stars, and but that is not what I'm talking about, and that is not what I'm doing, because they earn money to talk about relatives to those people that pay to see them, and they are going for something else than what I'm doing. They don't get. They maybe it have happened, but they don't go for those in heaven. those that is the spirits. They go for those that have passed away, that they can feel the energy of them, that there is left behind energy from some people, and they can pick it up. And that is very different from what I'm doing. And he was talking about this old women that sit and could tell about other people, and those with that do the tarot card, they also can tell things. Before I knew God, I was to tarot card, and they could tell very much about me that they didn't know. So there is this kind of pick up left behind energy from people, and they can see some signs in people, on people. But I have been to churches where church leader have been very wrong about me, talking about me in a bad way, that I have full of sin, like that, and they didn't know me. They didn't know I was there because God took me out to test people, and God test this pastor and people in the church that was talking bad about me. It was a test. I'll be very dry in my mouth, and when I say this, it's because its spirit is coming here. That I don't know what it is, why I suddenly got so very dry in my mouth. We'll see if we will see if some manifestate itself better, to see what is going on. But maybe is it he's coming because I am going to talk about something here, and they know, because they can see all time. They can see from when we are born until we go away from this planet. So they know what I will tell, and it just come up in my mind that we should not worship any man on earth. Oh, that's a wrong thing, and we should not worship any because we should have this own relationship with God. But God doesn't want us to worship him like you see on television show from the church, or what you see in the church, this dancing in the church, like club dancing in the church. This is not what God wants to see. He wants to see your heart. He wants to see your heart longing for him. And I have told you about this one time when I was in a church, and I started to worship, and I think God didn't like that. So suddenly I couldn't move. I was standing like glue under my feet, and it was one of this big famous preacher. His sure name is Christmas, and he had this show going on, and he come to me down on the floor and look, and he bowed down so much he wanted to look in my eyes, and then he say to me, "You really worship God," he say to me, or if he say Jesus, I don't remember really, but he say that you really worship. He say, and when he did that, I was gluing my feet on the floor and I couldn't move. I wanted to go away because his preaching started, but I have to stay there in front of the altar and close to the altar, and it was embarrassing to stand there, but I couldn't walk away. And then the show was over, and everyone was going home, and they they turned off the lights, and I was standing. It was only a little light on the walls, and I was standing there, and I was scared that they are going to turn off the whole light. And it was this time before the terror attack, so I could be in the church without anyone say anything. It was no security in that time. So I was there, and then it was two altar worker behind me with a blanket, and then suddenly it opened up in the air, and some arms was reaching after me, and the arm in some way, even if it was far away, I was connected with them. So I was still gluing in the floor, and those arms took me and wanted me to come into the hole where the arms was coming from, and I couldn't go with them because I was gluing in the floor, and I didn't know what to do, and those altar workers behind me, they didn't see anything going on, but they saw that I was like flying in the air. It looked like that for them because they didn't know I was gluing the floor, and the arms tried to pull me into the hole in the air. So I was standing in the way, so it looked like I was flying in the air, and the woman behind me, she said, "What's going on? What's going on?" And the man said to her, "It can happen sometimes," he said, to calm her down. And I didn't know what to do. I was in this limbo situation. And I asked God, "What should I do? What should I do now?" And he said, God answered me, and he said, "Tell me how much you love me," he said to me. And so I say that. I say all kind of words that I remember to say how much I love him, how much he means for me. And these things, that was what he wanted me to say. He didn't want me to worship like those most people do in the church, like go crazy with their arms and dancing and these things. So he teach me this. And then one evening when I recording my podcast, and there is an episode that says I was to heaven and I was stuck there in heaven, and it was the same thing. I couldn't come back to earth. I sit here, and I was in I don't really remember as I was in the spirit, but I was up to heaven in the spirit, and then I felt like I was too deep into heaven, and I want to come back to earth and to close up my recording, and I couldn't come down from heaven. And then I remember that what I did when I was glued in the floor. So I started to tell God how much I love him. And then he let me go down to earth. So that's the answer about what to do when be together with God. Not to worship. It's the worship like club dancing and this screaming, and this is only for people around, for the pastor, to show the pastor that you are really into Jesus, that these people are into Jesus as God, that do this. Those people that I have met that believe in God, Elohim, Yah, or what you call God, that is not Jesus, the Father of Jesus. Those that really are in a relationship with God, the real God, they don't do this, screaming and dancing and worshipping. They are mild and humble and bow down their head and talk mild to God. So it's very different from. It's like, when I say this, I'm sorry to say that, because I was the same as you when I didn't really believe that Jesus was God, but I didn't know if he was it. So it was like I was a little between who is Jesus. And I also was dancing in those African American churches, but not today that people look like they are on drugs in the church because they are running around. We didn't run around in that time. We were standing where we were sitting, and then when the spirits took us, we come up from the seat and could dance a little where we were standing, and not running around like they do today, like they are in a club instead of the church. I must drink a little more water. he is saying that he wants to talk. The spirit that is here. I don't know who he is. He's saying that, and maybe it's a woman, he's saying. So I tell the spirit that you have to show me then if you are a man or a woman. So it's something with him that he say this or she say it, because this is about cross-dresser. Is this to be a he, she, he? Is that can't be accept where they are born to be, and there is some. It's not only one way how they see themselves. It can be a mental issues, and it can be a body issues, because there is people that is born with the two genders, and it's not their fault that they have been born like that. And if the doctor, when they are baby, decide them to make a baby a boy, and it can be that that baby should have been a girl. So he wants us to be careful what we are judging these people about. That's why he is like that, full of stress when he's coming down here. He's not stressed in heaven, but when he's coming close to earth, he take on him what he had when he lived here on earth. That's I have told you about that they, when they come in close to earth, they can be like poison. They got it's the planet where we live. It's so toxic for the spirits. So sometimes they can really feel like they felt when they live here, and he do these things. He don't really want to be here on earth, but he wanted to say that. He's telling me that there is people that hunt them, that is cross-dresser, that is not okay in a gender, and he say that you need to be patient with them, and he talking about that there is people that killing them, and he have been one of them that is been the victim of anger, and is not what we should do. If we are children of God, we should be patient with these people. We should not accept it, but we should not be mock them and kill them. We should make so much comfort for them to not make a suicide. We should accept them but not accept what they are doing, but help them to come back to what they are, what gender they are born to be. And so he's talking about that it's so much hunting today. It's so much evil going on. He's not talking about what he have experienced. He is talking about also what happened today, that people that saying that they believe in God, and it doesn't matter if they say they believe in Jesus, they should not act like they do today. It's too much hate. We should love each other, not love in that way that we are kissing them, but we need to accept them, but not accept what they are doing, but accept them as God's creation. God has made them in His creation. But then is that when people don't know God and they are not chosen by God to go with Him, they have a free will and make the decision how they will live their life. People know what God wants from them to do, how to live their life, but they don't do it because they go with their wants. They go with the nature in them, and make God angry at them. But still He loved them and wait for them to come change their way, their wicked way to do things. Everyone have in life problems sometimes, and not everyone is going with wrong things. They try to hold back what they feel. That there is people that feel like they are the other gender, but they don't do anything. They try to live as they are born to be, even if they feel another gender inside them, and they understand that it's the devil that tried to take them from God in that way. He's talking here. He's talking, and now he look very sad and like he's crying. It's something that is about the devil, that he have taken so many people away from God. He's talking about, and make those people live a life, in a horrible life, when they have changed. There is people that have done surgery and changed their gender, and then they find out that to change the gender didn't give them any relax and happiness in life. sometimes it have been worse, the problem, and because they realize they have been fooled of the devil. They have been fooled of maybe their parents. There is many that have done surgery because the parents have wanted them to change the gender, and then they have to live with that their whole life. So he reminded me about something that have happened here in Sweden in Easter time. I talk about it in an episode in Easter about this, that even here in my area, close, not in my area, but the neighbor area, they have been burning cars. They did that in Easter, and in many places in Easter time they were burning cars, and they threw rocks on the police, rocks on the fire workers, rocks on ambulance, and take over police cars and ambulance also, and they confirm now in the news that I have talking about this, that when I lived and worked for this Muslim in United States, that it was not the man that is the evil one, it is the women. Women, they want it to look like they are under the man in Islam, and the media want it to look like that. But in fact, it is women that tell men to go out and do bad things, and they were showing me. He had this man. I live with these Muslims. He come home with some videos from Pakistan. He was born in Pakistan, and I watched this video, and it was that they kill United Nations observers. They kidnap them and they cut off their head, and in those the videos I saw, women were sitting and was the boss over the man, and the women told the man what to do. So I come to know it, and now when it was this with the Easter, when they were talking today about it on television, that they have taken some young men in custody and in jail, and it showed up that it was women. There were women that going with their son, and those mothers, they told the sons to throw the rocks, and that's the first time Swedish government start to open up their eyes about it, that it maybe can be women that do bad things and not only men. And I know that because those children I saw when I was working with the Muslims people, they have like a meeting in their home, and I was there and saw it, that there was the man, and the man was under the women, and those women, they raised their son to be frightened about them. They hit their sons. The daughters, they only screaming at the daughters, but the son, they got beaten, really beaten, of their mothers. So to be scared about their mother. So it's what he wanted to say here, the Spirit. It's that the world can look in one way, but in the background and in the deep, there is something else going on. There is another agenda, and that heaven wants us to have open eyes and open ears about what's going on. And we should not judge, because we don't know what is behind those things. We don't know their agenda. They don't. It's not like they sit in your home and drinking coffee and then they sit and talk to you about what's going on in the world. That's not what they are doing. They hide from us ordinary people. They don't tell you everything. It's I know very much things that is not what it seems like to be, and God tell me. So I end up here because I know I see it, that I'm on my way to reach 1 hour episode, so I don't want to go more longer than 1 hour about. So those last words for you is to stay awake what's going on, and then do like I do, that I don't believe everything what I hear and see. I sometimes you need to step back, take one step back and look at it in many angles, because you have to stay awake, or else you fall to sleep and never wake up again. So God bless you, and God loves you, and I love you too. Thank you.